And okay. I told you this would be long. So, I in terms of the movie itself and like just the plot and the stuff that really pissed me off, I think that's the gist of it, except for the fact that once again Jacob gets screwed, and I don't get that. He's the only decent character throughout this movie, and he keeps getting crapped on about. I'm repeating myself now. Okay, so, this is the part where I have to say who would like it and who would not like it. Because let me tell you, when the movie was done, there was applause. All the teenage girls, yay! It understands me! Look at you. Don't make me pity this demographic anymore. You've already made it so tough showing that, Twilight, that you respect Twilight. And to say, yeah, that was good. Okay, again, this is the real cynical asshole in me coming out. This is going against what I say where, movies can be anything to anyone, and they can represent something. It just, for me, I think, for my values and my ethics, it hurt me so bad that it just really fueled some anger in me. I mean, just some real hatred. So, in all honesty, I should talk about who should like this movie. Let's talk about why did, a lot of teenage girls like this movie. Because actually, I heard that a lot of people, even fans of the book, didn't like this book, apparently. Which doesn't shock me at all. But I think the reason they like it, because actually I went with someone who liked it. And said, oh yeah, I enjoyed it. And she doesn't like Bella and stuff, but, she likes her some Jacob. She just finds the boys hot. So, and I wasn't going to be a dick. I wasn't going to be like, what's wrong with you? I just said, I feel like that's awesome. What'd you like about it? What'd you like? Oh, I like the werewolves. I like the, I like the fighting. I like, the little drama and, Bella, she didn't smile at her wedding? Well, that was weird, but, I like seeing, the fight, and I like, will she have the baby and stuff like that, so my hope with this movie is that the people who don't like it are probably going to not like it for the same reason they either don't like the other Twilight movies or the reason I don't like this Twilight movie. The people who like it, my hope is that they're still wrapped up in the fairy tale aspect, and these really sick, disturbing issues are just not going to hit. In that, they shouldn't hit. Because, again, this movie doesn't know what it's talking about. And I'm really hoping that it's flying over their heads and they're not like, yeah, that got me thinking about abortion. That got me thinking about choices. That got me thinking about, the Twilight choices, that is, and, okay. Just as I said before, it's not like abortion shouldn't be talked about. It should. And it's not like we should just always ignore it. No, we should acknowledge it. We should really confront this stuff, and we should bring up our arguments for either side, or if you've even chosen a side, or whatever, and it should be discussed. Or ethically, or physically, or legally, or whatever. I'm not against that. I'm against idiots talking about it. I'm against them talking about it like they know, like they understand, like they have the responsibility and the talent to bring this subject matter to you, and it's just, they're so full of themselves on that, and they're just, I don't think this stuff is going to register to the people who like it, which is not to say I would recommend it to anyone. I wouldn't recommend it to a dog. But at the same time, I think the people who do enjoy this, it's not going to hit them straight in the face. They're not going to think about, abortions or the issues that they're trying to bring up. So, and like I said, this could very well just be me. Maybe nobody else is thinking about this. Maybe people are just laughing at it like they laugh at the other Twilight movies, or maybe all the teenage girls are getting into it just like they got into the other ones for the same reasons. Just the romance, oh, Edward, you make mistakes, but I still love you. Oh, Jacob, why don't you go with Jacob? Whatever they talk about. So, like I said, if you like the other Twilight movies, there's a much stronger risk that you won't like this movie because it does just get so grisly and so bloody and so unpleasant. But maybe, I think for a lot of girls, like that just sucks them more into the drama, the quote-unquote drama. So maybe you'll like that. I would just definitely advise not taking these issues they're talking about in a sense that they know what they're talking about. Because it is Twilight. You're going to look back years later and you're going to laugh. You're going to really, really, it's going to be like when we look back at Saved by the Bell. At the time, it was like, wow, this is high school. And now we're like, we thought that was high school. It's going to be the same thing. I mean, whether you realize it or not. Well, now I'm being really snobby. I'm saying what you're going to think. But it's very likely that would happen. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not going to say you're a moron if you don't do that. Whatever you like, you like. You have your own reasons. People who wouldn't like it, I think... Do I really have to say? People with penises are not going to like it. Which is not to say everyone with a vagina will like it, but certainly people in the tween age, bordering teenage years with a vagina will most likely like it. If you don't like the other Twilight movies, like you really hate it, you're going to really hate this one. You're going to really despise it. In terms of making fun of it, there's definitely stuff to make fun of. But like I said, and maybe people will just enjoy the fact that Twilight is trying to talk about this, and that they really think they know what they're talking about. Isn't this great? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, me personally, I can't quite get on board with that. I just think this is such a hot-button topic. And maybe it is like an exploitation film. Even exploitation films, you going in, you're going to see, if they're going to try and push your buttons. This really thinks it's saying something to you. And that it's dealing with an issue like, oh yeah, we're going to be brave enough to go there. It's not bravery. It's not. Bravery is really understanding the issue before you say a goddamn thing about it. And you don't. You do not, movie. So, okay. I've gotten so emotional about this movie. Like I said, this really, really pissed me off. Hopefully from this review, I'm sorry if I really went on a rant here, but it just, as you can tell, it really hit a button with me, and I found it so revolting. And if you see something beautiful in it, I'd love to hear why. And I'm not going to say you're wrong. I would love to honestly hear why. And how you got that out of this. Because I did actually enjoy talking to the person I went with. I was asking her, what did you like about it? And it was a very simple response. And my guess is that for most people it's going to be a simple response. So maybe it's not as bad as I'm making it out. But it's just from an adult standpoint, this was, really a disgusting, disgusting film. But what do I really think you're asking? I think I've gone on long enough. I don't know how long this is. I sort of went to my own zone. So like I said, this is probably longer than you expect. I'm probably going to encourage so many people to go see this movie now, because they're like, good God, I have to see what the fuck he's talking about. Ironically, I'm not trying to tell people not, how horrendous it is, and people that they just got to see it. So, and I'll say this before I sign out. Like I said, I may be, reading too much into it. I'm not denying that. Maybe nobody would think of these issues at all. Maybe I'm the only one. Maybe me and a few other people. And, we take it really to heart. But that's what it did for me. And my guess would be even fans of Twilight would have a harder time with this one, because it does get so grisly and so grim and bloody and really tackling just some unpleasant issues in the way that Twilight handles it. So there it is, man. I think I've rambled on long enough. This might be one of the few times where the regular review is funnier than the bum review. Okay, so guys, take care. I hope you can come to your own decision whether or not you want to see this movie. Thanks for watching. Later.